Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Wednesday, and we are right after AEW on schedule. What a main event. Oh, boy. It's just me tonight. It's a solo show, so not going to go that long. It wasn't really that busy of a week. I'm gonna save my guests for next week. Next week is going to be WrestleMania week. It's already upon us. It's that time of year. What's going on, Kyle? And last week there actually was a show. It was on Monday. It was a special Monday edition at RJ on, and we just talked a little bit. We did our own bus flip. That's always fun to do. I love doing those. And what's up, CM Yucking Goof? I'm gonna say Yucking. That sounds cool. So we did a special Monday edition because I wasn't gonna be here on Wednesday because I was at the AEW show here in San Antonio. Which I'll just talk about my experience just for a bit. So, it was first AEW show in San Antonio. I was at the Freeman Coliseum, not AT&T Center, which makes sense because AEW, to my knowledge, I don't think they've done stadium shows, like stadium or arena shows. They do more of the small scale arenas, which is good, which I think WWE should really start doing more often. I mean, because I've been to Raw, I've been to SmackDown, I've been to some pay-per-views, and I'll look up, and I'm just yep, there's an entire section draped off. And when I was at AEW, that whole building was damn near packed, which is good. The crowd seemed like they were pretty much into mostly everything. So, I don't know. I think WWE, one of their many things they need to do is to scale, downsize. Would you consider Arthur Ashe a stadium show? I don't know. Arthur Ashe is from, Long Island, right? Wasn't that the one show where, it was kind of half full? Or not even half full, one side of the arena wasn't even there. Yeah, I don't know. I personally just think WWE needs to scale back. Even with WrestleManias. Especially with pay-per-views. Why does Backlash need to be in a big stadium? Or an arena? WrestleMania, I get it. Because it's WrestleMania. Royal Rumble, I get it. Survivor Series... they could probably scale back on that because it's not really that interesting anymore. SummerSlam, SummerSlam can use an arena or a stadium because it's SummerSlam. But yeah, a Raw, a SmackDown. Pretty soon, I've heard they're gonna start taking NXT on the road. They could really scale back, especially NXT. Don't put NXT in arenas. Maybe for takeovers, a regular NXT show, don't put that shit in arenas. Put it in a smaller place, a smaller venue. You know what I mean? Again, an example I use all the time. They put Raw and SmackDown in the AT&T Center when they come here to San Antonio. For their house shows, they'll go to Freeman Coliseum. They used to, and they did NXT house shows back in the day. Back in the day when NXT was NXT, when it was starting to get its peak, or starting in it, or let me rephrase that, when it was starting to get some steam. This is back in 2015, Dirk. This is when NXT had Finn Balor. And the main, let me just kind of go back in time and show you how old this is. The main event of that NXT house show that we went to was Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze. That was the main event. It was the first time I've seen Finn live. It was the first time I got to see Carmella. It was the first time I saw Alexa Bliss. Yeah, it was a long time ago. That was in NXT. Was cool. See him fucking goof. Yeah, it was a long time ago. 7 years. I even have a video on my YouTube of Finn making his entrance. And the venue that they chose for that was oh fuck, why am I forgetting? The Aztec Arena. Oh no, not even Aztec Arena. It's like the Aztec. Hold on. I live here. I'm supposed to fucking know these things. Hold on. Come on. The Aztec Theater. There you go. Aztec Theater, not arena. Aztec Theater, which is a theater where they have like concerts and shit. And I've been there for concerts. I saw Breaking Benjamin there twice, and I've been there for NXT twice. And it makes sense that they had it there because NXT is developmental. So you're not going to have a developmental show in a giant arena. Because, this is going to sound shocking, and I say this a lot. Not everybody watches NXT. Not even when NXT was good back then. No, not everyone watched NXT. I'm rambling on. I'm sorry. I'll get to the main show. But so when we got to Freeman Coliseum, because Freeman Coliseum mainly will do concerts. They'll do for the most part, they'll do concerts. AT&T Center will do the big pay-per-views, the bigger concerts, the rodeo. The Alamo Dome will do the Final Four every now and then when they do have the Alamo Dome down here. But yeah, the Freeman Coliseum is a much smaller venue. I've been there. The last time I was there was when I saw NXT TakeOver. The Rumble was in San Antonio, so that was in 2017. And it's a very small arena, and it's weird because you can be sitting in nosebleeds and you'll still see the whole show. It feels like you're close. Yeah, it's an older arena. It's I can't really think of any professional teams that played there, because I know the Spurs, even before they played at the AT&T Center in the Alamo, they played at the what is it called, the Forum? Hold on. What was the first arena the Spurs played at before the Alamo Dome? Come on. Not the Alamo Dome. Fuck it, doesn't matter. But let me just give an example of what's really at the Freeman Coliseum. Let's see. The San Antonio Stars own it. The WNBA team. Let's see. San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. I can't, to be honest, I can't really think of really anything else that goes on in Freeman Coliseum. Hemisphere Arena. There you go, Kyle. Kyle knows more about San Antonio than I do, and I live here. No, fuck it. I'm spending too much time on this topic. But yeah, anyways. So our friend Peter bought me and the missus tickets for AEW, because originally I didn't want to go, but it was one of those things where it's just well, I'll just go to check it out. And so we get there, and we're sitting damn near close to the floor. And I'm just damn, these are some good ass seats. And I posted the pics in this chat room, and you guys saw. Dirk saw it, a few other guys saw it, and they're like, hey, you guys got some damn good seats. On the tickets, when my friend bought them, it said limited viewing. So I didn't know what that meant. And when I get there, I quickly realized, now I know why it said limited viewing. Because we were sitting close to the aisle, everybody was coming in or going back up. And I couldn't fucking see shit. This was during the show. This was during every match, because everybody decided to hit the fucking merchandise table or go get beer. And it was just fucking frustrating as shit. I had to stand up to get a good picture. It was just not that I cared, because they were filming what is it? Elevation and Dark before not Rampage, but Dynamite started, and then after Dynamite started, they filmed Rampage, and it's just like, not that I care, but it just got frustrating, and that shit was happening during fucking Dynamite too, and it also didn't help that people were trying to find their seats, and when they got to their seats, they realized that those weren't their seats. Like, there was this one lady who, I can't tell if she was new, but she didn't know how to do her job. Because people would be standing in the fucking aisleway, and she would just be watching them, waiting for something to happen. And it just got frustrating. And then, like, after a while, they brought in this other lady, this older white woman, and she was running shit. Like, she knew how to get everybody to their seat, or just get everyone to their seat, making sure they're not blocking the aisleway. And, like, the section in front of us, there was at least 4 different people that were sitting there, because they thought that they were sitting in the right seats until they were told, actually, these aren't your seats. And it's funny because there are these guys sitting there, and there's this other group of guys that came in. They're like, "Yeah, these are our seats," and the guys that are there were kind of giving them a hard time. And then my friend Peter was like, "Actually, this is the correct row." And then they just got up and moved. So it's just like it was frustrating, because it's just like, can I just watch the fucking show? And then out of nowhere, they sent the janitor to just clean up a fucking spill during the fucking show. Not after the show. And it's not like it was like spilling like all over the seats or all over, the aisleway. It's like one little spill, and he decides to fucking get up and clean during the fucking show, again, blocking my view. And it's just like, you can't fucking do this after the goddamn show was over. Or at least like maybe before Rampage starts. Like, come on. Other than that, I mean, good seats, but it's just like, I probably don't want to sit there. If it says limited viewing, I'm not going to choose those fucking seats. I'm sorry. But the rest of the show, I mean, they filmed Dark and Elevation. I could have done without. Didn't care. Rampage, I was already tired. I was done. I was like, can we leave? I don't care about this match. I mean, it was good to see Keith Lee having a competitive match against Max Caster, because reasons. And then, of course, he does his he gets on the mic and does his let's see how fucking good. I'll talk about Control Your Narrative, Goof. I'll definitely talk about Control Your Narrative. Don't worry about it. Keith Lee doing his usual, I was held back and I was let go and I didn't have a job, and then Tony Khan brought me back in and gave me my life, and like, okay, whatever. Show your role, dude. But the rest of the show, Dynamite was fine. I got to see the Hardys in person, so that was cool. In the beginning of the show, the 6-man was fine. Everybody seemed to, react well to that. The Jericho thing, the crowd didn't really seem to care for, honestly. And I'm just going to skip to the main event. So the main event, as you know, was the steel cage match for the AEW Women's Championship. You had Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. And it was the 1-year anniversary of their Lights Out non-sanctioned match. Non-sanctioned match from a year ago. The match of the year. It was not a very good match. Like, I don't know how you guys saw it when you were watching it at home. Watching it in person, it's like, yeah, the crowd was fine. Like the AEW fans are going to cheer for anything. Like, let's just be real. Like, there can be a bowl of soup in there, and the AEW fans will go nuts. And then Dave Meltzer will be like, 5 stars! 6 stars! The greatest bowl of soup to ever do soup things. It was not a very good match. And I'm going to put that on Britt, because Britt was terrible in this match. Like, this is probably the worst I've ever seen Britt. And I couldn't tell if she was phoning it in or maybe she was, but she was not selling anything. She falls on a fucking tower of chairs and gets up like nothing happened. Rosa, like, throws her on a bed of thumbtacks and doesn't fucking sell it. You can tell Rosa's getting pissed off. Like, I don't know if you guys are here for that episode. You know, me and RJ. Actually, me and RJ were talking about it on our Patreon show. Go to the Patreon, $5 a month. We were talking about it on our Patreon show where I brought up the rumor that Rosa doesn't like Britt, and the rumor that RJ, you know, he told me was that Britt apparently is what's the word I'm going to put for? What's the word I'm trying to think of? She's treating Tony Khan for his I guess his oral hygiene. I couldn't think of a more clever way to say that, but that's the rumor. Is that she's a buddy with the boss, if you get what I mean. That's the rumor, CM Goof. That's just a rumor. I don't like to start rumors, but technically it wasn't my rumor to start. Like, somebody else started it before me. I'm just regurgitating it. But yeah, that's why Thunder Rosa doesn't like Britt, and I don't blame her. I mean, Britt lately has been she's kind of been acting like a cunt. Like, let's just be real. Like, she's doing the CM Punk thing of I'm going to vanity search myself and see things I'm tagged in or talked about in, and then reply to it. So, like, you know, Bill Shannon, shout out to Bill Shannon, you know, he put something about, you know, the wrestling tees, you know, box crater, whatever the hell it's called. And, you know, he said, you know, I heard Britt Baker is going to be a part of this month's crater, or whatever the hell. He's like, I guess I'm subscribing, and she fucking replies like, oh, I'm glad you're not, but I'm a star. Oh, like, oh god. It's a shame, because I've always heard nice things about Britt. I know Shaheen said he did business with Britt, and she actually paid him double. And you know, you always hear about how she was a nice person, and Adam Cole's a nice guy. So it's kind of a shame, because again, that's entertainment. You know, yes, I know I said that dirty word, entertainment. Fame changes people. I'm just going to put it that way. Fame will change people. Regardless of who you used to be or what town you came from, it'll change you. But yeah, this match was bad. Very sloppy match. Of course, there had to be thumbtacks. Couldn't just be a simple cage match. I was fine with there just being a cage match, but they had to add the thumbtacks. How dare you, Dirk, say that about me? They had to add the thumbtacks. They had to add the million steel chairs. It's just it was a sloppy match. Not anywhere near as, I don't even want to say good, but not even near as at least somewhat decent or entertaining as their match from last year. But this was just bad. BAD bad. And I put that on Britt. Like, Britt, to me, I think has gotten too comfortable. Like, she has let this fame get to her head, and she has realized, I guess I don't have to do much, since Dave Meltzer will literally love anything I do. Or Tony will literally love anything I do, you know, because I'm... you know? Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Yeah, Britt sucks. She sucks. Like, all she is a good promo. And you put her in the WWE roster with the women. We put her with the women's roster. Oh, yeah, Dirk. Freaking... Yeah, Dave loves Britt. He adores Britt. Be nice to me even though I suck here. 6 foot nothing, ADD, riddled gay girl. Hey, what's up? I have a feeling I know who you are, but anyways, I just went off track. I had something, then I got distracted. Oh yeah, Britt sucks. She, like, put her in the women's division with the WWE, and she's just another average girl. She's just another girl that could somewhat wrestle, but not really. And she can cut an okay promo. I mean, is she better than Charlotte? No. Is she better than Bayley? Is she better than Sasha? Is she maybe even better than Becky, Bianca, Rhea, Asuka? No. Hell no. She is not better than most of those broads. She might be somewhat better than Nikki Ash. I'll give her credit for that. You know? Is she maybe even better than Carmella? Probably. Is she better than Liv Morgan? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm just waiting for Mish to just conveniently pop out of nowhere and just go, "No! Don't ever say anything nice about Liv Morgan. I'll kill you." It's like, damn, Mish, chill. I don't think she's better than Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan's a much better wrestler than Britt. Maybe she's a better talker than Liv. Liv is not very good on the mic. Let's see how Rosa's title reign goes. I mean, judging by tonight, we can probably see where her title reign is going. Kevin Castle, who is disgusted by the fact that I even went to an AEW show, made the assumption that he thinks Rosa might even have a very short title reign. I don't know if he meant very short or if it's just like it's not going to be as lengthy as we think it might be. So we'll see, because Rosa, much better worker, much better talker than Britt. So we'll see how it works out. I mean, I lost my Kevin Castle privileges. I don't even know if I want Kevin Castle privileges. That sounds dirty. It sounds wrong and dirty. Ugh. But let's move on to let's talk about the weekend wrestling. Actually, let's just talk about Dynamite that just happened first. Then I'll get to the reviews for the other show, and then I'll do some news, and then we'll get to Q&A. To the Q&A questions that were asked. So AEW just happened. Show opens with CM Punk coming back, wrestling Dax Harwood from FTR, and I thought this was a very good match. I can't even front. Like, I have talked so much shit about CM Punk's run in AEW, and again for good reason. You know, just like wrestling job guys and elevating them, quote unquote. But you know, FTR I think is a little bit more higher on the card. And I don't think I've ever seen Dax really wrestle a match before, or the other guy, Dash. But this is a very good match. I liked it. Good back and forth. I appreciate good wrestling. Let me just get that out of the way. I like good wrestling. I like a good wrestling match. I don't like any of this high-flying, no-selling, super kicky bullshit. Like, I appreciate good wrestling. Anytime Punk is in a match, it makes sense. It's good psychology. Same thing with FTR. They have good matches. I like that kind of wrestling. And these two went out and had a really good match. I liked it. FTR or Dax. He put on the sharpshooter. It was funny. CM Punk put on his Twitter, "I love Bret Hardmore." So I thought that was funny. Punk, goes for an Anaconda Vice, gets the tap out. Billy Gunn's useless sons are at fucking ringside for reasons. But overall, great match. Liked it. Best match of the night. I agree with Dirk. And Punk, I don't know what they're going to do with him after this. I don't know if they're going to continue him and MJF. I would imagine that they're going to have a third match at what is it, Double or Nothing. So we'll see. Next match. What's the next match? Yeah, the Butcher and the Blade and Private Party. The Andrade Office versus the Hardy Boys. Darby Allin and Sting in a Tornado Tag Team match. I mean, this is a fun match. I couldn't really shit on it too much. I guess my only knock, or actually I have two knocks, is I don't really want to see Matt or Jeff do these spots anymore. Like, I really don't. I mean, because Matt looks like he can barely walk. I mean, because Matt's always been bow-legged. I don't know if you've noticed that about Matt his whole career. I realized that, like, 15 years ago, is Matt's bow-legged. Like, he looks like he fucking walks like a Yosemite Sam. And he's also not, again, he's not the guy that does the crazy spots, and, lately his AEW run, his matches have not been very good because he's not the Matt from 15, 20 years ago. And then Jeff can go, but it's just like, I wince when I see him do these things. Like, and I said it, when he did the spot, the swanton in the back where he jumped off the window, and I just kind of went, don't trip, don't slip, come on. And he, did the swanton, and yeah, he fell on two guys, and Sting was there to make sure, I guess, the table was a little bit more like sturdy. But it's just like, I really don't want to see Jeff do this. It's like the spot with hold on, let me try to get comfortable a little bit. One moment. Okay, sorry about that. It's like the spot. Was it that one pay-per-view with Matt and Sammy, where Sammy does like type of I don't know what the fucking move was, but like Matt fell off and hit his head, and he had a concussion, and then they didn't even stop the match, and then he didn't even mention that he had a concussion. It's just, I don't want to see any of those guys do that shit. I mean, save them for the pay-per-view matches, save them for the big matches, but I don't know. Like, they're going to do what they want regardless. They're going to give the fans what they want. The fans want to see it. I love Jeff. I'm a Jeff Hardy mark. Maybe not so much anymore after he basically openly admitted that he manipulated the company into releasing him, which is just like, so we're just going to forget that happened. We're going to forget that he said that. I mean, whatever. But I don't want to see Jeff get hurt. I really don't. Like, a lot of Jeff's problems, his drinking and his drug use, they stem from the fact that he's trying to, I guess, heal his body after doing these fucking bumps. So, again, I just don't want to see Jeff get hurt. I want to see Jeff be able to walk and, walk his daughter down the aisle to give her away at her wedding. Just small things like that. Dr. Kevin, I'm actually blocked by Tay Conti on Twitter. So, you're going to have to screenshot that for me or whatever, but I'm blocked by her. Because I guess she didn't like what I said. Yeah, Dirk, I'm blocked by her. Not sure if it's allowed. I mean, if it's like pornography, I guess try to blur some things out or whatever, but oh, stop. Oh, stop. If it's, I mean, naked with the belt over front. I mean, as long as he's not showing any titties or pussy or, then that's fine. You can post it if you want. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to those titties. I'm not gonna get mad at you for it. But yeah, the match was fine. It was a fun match, is what you would expect it, except for, oh boy. Oh yeah, they definitely jizzed on that title. So yeah, fun match, was what it was. Even though Sting and, well, not Matt, but Sting, botched the he botched the finish. But again, it's a 62-year-old man. Come on. What do you expect? Let's see. You had Danielson and Moxley versus the Varsity Blondes. Moxley and Danielson are now the Blackpool Fight Club. And I can't shit on that. I like that. It's pretty dope. Again, matches what you thought it'd be. And Julia Hart was sitting on the steel steps for some reason, still selling the fact that she botched the spot where Malachi Black spit mist in her eye. And it's just like, well, she should have fucking joined them already. Why are we still continuing this? Like, we don't care. It's like, we don't care about the Varsity Blondes. They ruined Brian Pillman Jr.'s push. I mean, because they should have really pushed this guy after the Dark Side episode. Griff Garrison kind of sucks. Julia Hart, she's like barely 21. Is she? Actually, no, she's not even 21. She's 20. So, yeah. I'm just gonna move on before I say something stupid. Let's see. Moxley gets on the mic and talks a little bit of shit. Combat Club, actually. Blackpool Combat Club. I got that wrong. MJF comes out and speaks to the crowd, calls Texans a bunch of hicks and inbreds. Talks about CM Punk, says, we're going to wrestle again. Don't worry about it because I want to wrestle until you're dead. So that way I can show up to your funeral and piss on your grave. Which I thought was... I was like, oh shit. Talks about Wardlow saying, I pulled you from obscurity. When I met you, you didn't have anything. You didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I made sure to give you a nice little house for you and your mom. And, just MJF being a dick. Wardlow comes out. A bunch of security guys. First time I've seen a spot with security guys where they actually do their job properly. Because they actually hold back Wardlow. Because I was thinking, okay, is Wardlow going to break free and just start beating the fuck out of all these security guys? And then MJF is going to run away like a little bitch. No, all these security guys literally gang up on Wardlow and just hold him back. And I'm like, okay, that's new. So then MJF tells, Wardlow, you don't work for AEW, you work for me. I owned your contract. I'm going to keep paying you, but you're going to stay at home. You're not going to come here. You're in violation or whatever. And I'm going to make sure you stay at home forever and ever and ever until you're irrelevant and these people forget who you are. And then, talks about the Pinnacle still being a thing. And that's it. I would say, okay, I'll stay at home while you pay me. Yeah, Dirk, I'm just like, if that were me, I'd be like, oh, so you're still going to pay me. All right. It's like, that's not a very heel thing to do, MJF. It's just like, if you really want to be a heel, you stop paying him. But you're still going to pay him to stay at home. If that were Kevin Nash, he'd be like, huh, that's a damn good deal if you ask me. Oh, man. But that's my only knock on the promo. But again, it's MJF, so he's going to... that'd be funny if Wardlow just shows up to WWE catering. That'd be funny. It's just like, what's Mason Ryan doing here? It's like, sir, I'm Wardlow. What? Wardlow? Who the hell are you? I'm not allowed to go to AEW, so I gotta stay away from any arena they're at. Really funny. Let's see. What is the next segment? Best friends, don't care. Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal finally out of hiding, finally out of the witness protection program, finally on Dynamite in a big match that actually means something, and wrestling Adam Cole. And it's just like, okay, why do they not do anything with fucking Jay Lethal? I don't get it. Like, they sign all this talent, and it's just like, let's put him on Rampage. Let's put him on fucking Dark and Elevation. We just signed Keith Lee. Let's put him on Rampage. We just signed Swerve. Let's put him on Rampage. You just put we got Jay Lethal, who's is probably the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion in history. Put him on Rampage, and you can see it. You can see a pattern there. Tony Khan. But yeah, the match was fine. Jay Lethal and Adam Cole. I thought it was a pretty good match overall. Yeah, and I kind of agree, Dirk, until the Panama Sunrise, because it's just like, I think that move is just preposterous to begin with. Like, I hate it, that and a Canadian Destroyer, even though they're kind of virtually the same thing. Except one, you jump off the top rope, and the other, you stand. Either way, it's a stupid finish. And the fact that somebody kicks out of it, it's just like, come on. Just let that be the finish. And Jay Lethal tries to go for his, what is it, the lethal attack or lethal injection. Red Dragon is distracting the ref, and Adam Cole goes for a low blow. And pins him 1, 2, 3. So, second best match of the night. Adam Cole gets on the mic, talks a little bit of shit to Adam Page, says, I beat you. I know I can beat you, blah, blah, blah. Adam Page comes out. It's funny, he takes off his belt and just starts whipping all three of them. I was just like, okay, we're doing that. And that's probably the most cowboy thing he's ever done. The most cowboy thing that Adam Page has ever done. And then they beat his ass, and then Jurassic Express comes out and talks and just chases him out of the building. So I'm pretty sure we're getting Adam Page and Adam Cole at the next pay-per-view, which is Double or Nothing. In the ring, we have Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti in the ring, and talks about his loss from 2 weeks ago, and then says, I love performing for the AEW fans. I do a lot of crazy shit for the fans. People say that's going to bite me in the ass, but it's worth it. So, okay, you pretty much are saying that it's okay that you probably won't walk into right before you're 40. All right, whatever. I'm being an idiot. I'm sorry. And Ty Conti gets on the mic and says something, and I can't make out what it was because the microphone is not her friend. The microphone is not Ty Conti's friend. Like, the camera is definitely her friend. Great ass. Good looking girl. Cannot talk. Next, or not even next, but in the segment we have America. What is it? The Man of the Year come out, and what the fuck is that guy's name again? Dan Lambert. There you go. Dan Lambert comes out with Men of the Year, and then talks a little bit of shit. And Sammy wants a rematch. He wants a match against Paige Van Sant, and whoever her partner wants to be, whether it be Scorpio Sky or whatever. And they walk away, and then Dan Lambert is holding the other TNT title because there's still 2 TNT titles. That makes no sense. And kisses it and says, it looks like your opportunity just went away. Blah blah blah. And then Sammy goes, if you knew what we did with that title while we were wearing it, then you wouldn't be kissing it. And then Dan Lambert just drops the title. So basically, implying that they were fucking with the title, on which I forgot who shared it. Who shared the picture? Dr. Kevin. There you go. Of Sammy and Ty in bed. Yes, it was. Oh, Kyle. I adore you. Yeah, it was a cum reference, Kyle. I don't know if it was Sammy or Ty, or maybe it was both. But I can't really think. I can't really specify on who did what to the title. But yeah, long story short, there was jizz on the title, and Dan kissed the jizz. So now, not only is Sammy Guevara living in Dan Lambert's head rent free, he's also living in his mouth. So we got a cum reference on AEW. Next is they hype up Shane Strickland versus Ricky Starks on Rampage because, people were dying to see Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. Jesus Christ. Like, how do we not get Shane Strickland, Ricky Starks, Keith Lee, Jay Lethal on Dynamite on a regular basis, but we're getting Layla Hirsch? We're getting fucking Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet and the douche Society of Jericho. Like, come on. Like, we need better fucking... Yeah, she's dope. She's like... She looks very good outside of the ring, but it's just like... I don't know, just... She's like, what, 4'10"? And she doesn't really move around the ring that well. She has an odd body. I'll put it to you that way. And that sounds weird coming from me, but I'm also not getting paid to be on TV, be a professional athlete. It's just, I don't know. Like when Rosa was trying to pick her up a few weeks ago, it looked like me trying to pick up my niece. You know what I mean? Layla got some doughy thighs. See, there you go. This, I didn't watch this match for obvious reasons. I had to take a shit. Let's see. Jade Cargo had a segment, didn't see that. I walked in on the Thunder Rosa bit because I could literally hear Vicky Guerrero outside my door. Because I was taking a shit, and all of a sudden when I was walking back to the room, I hear, "Excuse me!" And it's just like, this shit. So this is gonna be fucking Rosa's first title defense or feud against fucking this bitch, Nyla Rose. Like, come on. And then Nyla takes her out. So, yay. I did flush, by the way. I always flush. I'm not an animal. Oh yeah, AEW sucks at booking their champions. Look over, they're doing that on Page. So the main event was the Beaver Boys. That's a great name. Alex Reynolds and John Silver versus the Jericho Douche Society. Chris Jericho and Red Death. Daniel Garcia. Surprise, surprise, Jericho and Garcia won. I don't know why this was the main event. Like, why wasn't at least Adam Cole and fucking Jay Lethal the main event? And I didn't care. I really don't care. Like, the fact that they're giving Jericho another faction, it just excuse me. Like, it sucks. The match sucked. Thank you, Dirk. Not a very good match. Didn't care. Shouldn't have been the main event. Thank you, Kyle. So that was AEW. AEW had some good things tonight, but overall, it was kind of a back and forth show. Like, you had the Punk and I must keep saying FTR. The Punk and Dax match, the Adam Cole and the Jay match, and then the Jizz reference. Other than that, the show was bad. The show was crap. Not a very good AEW show tonight. Weak ending. Very weak ending. Like, should have started strong and ended strong. Have fucking Jay Lethal and Adam Cole as the main event. How is that not your fucking main event? But we're gonna have Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus the Don Silver and the like. No one cares about that match. Not one person cares about that match at all. The show itself was jizz. There you go. Exactly. Let's get to reviews real quick, and then we'll get to questions. Wait, why am I on this page? Raw. Raw was Monday. Raw had an interesting beginning. Kevin Owens coming out to Steve Austin's music. You know, the whole place going nuts. And again, I knew it wasn't going to be Steve Austin, because Austin's not going to show up until Mania. Like, I think we pretty much knew that, but again, it was a nice swerve. Kevin Owens coming out having a bald cap as Steve Austin, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then during the bit, he has, Steve Austin's music playing, and he like freaks out for a bit, and he goes, I got you, I got you. Wasn't as good as back in 2005 when Shawn Michaels came out, and there was a Raw in Montreal. It was in 2005, and I think this was like the Raw leading up to SummerSlam, or like the week before, and he just does the whole, oh Canada, how I hate this place. And then Bret Hart's music plays out of nowhere and the whole place goes fucking nuts. And then Shawn just goes, I gave your hopes up just a little bit. Wasn't as good as that, but it was still good. It was a fun segment. So I'm looking forward to that bit at Mania, whether it's going to be a match or the KO show. Again, Steve Austin. How can you not want to see Steve Austin? Come on. That's going to be a big segment. Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs. The Dirty Dogs. That was a match. Omos versus Apollo Crews and Commander Sneeze, as Jim Cornette would say. Almost got on the mic. A lot of people made fun of the segment because they were saying he was talking over himself. I personally didn't hate the promo, but I think almost can definitely benefit from having maybe acting classes and enunciating a lot better, having a better dialect. Because almost is like he's not from Africa. He's like from, what is he from, like Jamaica or something? I want to get where he's from, right? Because I don't want to offend anybody. Hold on. Hold on. Where is Omos from? Lagos, Nigeria. There you go. So, yeah, he can definitely benefit. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm being an idiot, but it's just like anybody from a different section of the world, of course, they're going to have an accent. They're going to have a very strong accent. Again, look at Tay Conti. I don't think Omos is as bad as Tay Conti, but you can still at least understand what he's saying. Same thing with like Nikki Ash. Nikki Ash has that very thick Scottish accent, and sometimes you can't even hear what she's saying. But yeah, I didn't think the promo was bad. I saw people shitting on the promo. I didn't really hate it. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I missed that. Austin Theory and Finn Balor. I was able to catch up with it. Pretty good match. Pat McAfee came out and again talked a little bit of shit, setting up their match at Mania, which I'm looking forward to. RK Bro versus Alpha Academy. Street Profits came out and did some heel shit, which is interesting. It's good. It's always good for a character to have a little bit of a tweak to it, because after a while it gets a little stale. So, and maybe this means we're getting to see Montez Ford kind of break out from the pack. I'm sorry. Reggie and Dana Brooke versus Akira Tozawa and Tamina. I missed that classic. Early in the night, AJ Styles comes out and addresses Edge, and Seth comes out and kind of not coerces him, but talks about saying I need to be at WrestleMania, so how's about I wrestle you for your spot? AJ says no, and then not Adam Page, but the other Adam, the GM Adam and Sonya, basically do the whole, you already fought for a spot and you lost, but we're going to give you another spot anyway. Another chance to prove yourself anyway against AJ, so if you win, you take AJ's spot. So, yeah, Seth and AJ, pretty good match. And let's see. Edge came out and ruined the match by hitting AJ with a steel chair. And then Rollins grabbed a mic and said Raw won't happen next week unless he gets his WrestleMania moment. The show ended with him tearing apart the ringside area. So, next week, could we possibly see Cody show up? Like, is it going to be a thing of Seth shows up to Mania and says, there's not going to be a WrestleMania unless I get my match, and then Cody shows up, which would kind of be weird. Like, it'd be a weird way to re-debut Cody. Like, it would be more interesting if, like, Adam says, I found an opponent for you, or Cody comes out and just... I don't know how they're going to debut Cody, but it should be in a way that makes sense. Like, I really don't know. I can't book it. I'm not a booker. Like, I don't have that kind of job. I don't want that kind of job. So that was Raw. NXT happened last night. Let's see. Yeah, Broderick Strong versus Solo Sikoa in a NXT North American Championship qualifying match. As you can imagine, pretty good match. Two good talents. Sikoa gets the win. And then, was this after the match? No, this wasn't after the match. It was later. Dexter Lumis versus Tony D'Angelo. D'Angelo gets the win after Persia inadvertently hits, what's his name? Dexter in the face while the referee conveniently fucking squatted down. And Antonio got the win. And after the match, Tommaso comes out and attacks him. What happened after that? And Tommaso gives, basically says that after TakeOver, he's not going to be on NXT anymore. He's going to be on the main roster. And, yeah, we have that to look forward to. Elektra Lopez versus Fallon Henley. Elektra Lopez, I don't know what the fuck she was wearing, but damn. That's all I gotta say. Damn. She got the win, of course. Let's see. Braun Breaker versus Robert Roode. Braun gets the win. Pretty good match. Two guys that look like they were evenly matched and that they literally looked like each other. Like, oh man. But good match, as you can expect. I like the fact that there's more main roster guys working in NXT, especially if you're not going to do anything with them. And also to help put a lot of these guys over. I mean, Bobby Roode, he's been in the WWE for as long as he has because he's a safe worker. And he's reliable. And it's just like, you can't fire everybody, which literally what WWE did last year. But a guy like Roode, he's a good worker. He can put your top talent over. Same thing with Dolph. I just wish they hadn't fired Morrison, because Morrison, I think, would have been perfect for NXT to help put over some of the younger talent. You had the next match, which was A Kid. Not an actual kid. A Kid versus Grayson Waller in an NXT Championship qualifying match. Waller gets the pin. And then after the match, Carmelo Hayes comes out and says, tells the A Kid, you have another chance to be in the match. You're going to be in a three-way with, who is it, Roderick Strong and Cameron Grimes. And the winner of that will be added as the last man in the match. Which, makes sense. Fine with it. I'm assuming it's going to be Grimes because Grimes cut a very good babyface promo. About how, he was very close to his dad, and his dad's the reason why he got into wrestling, and right before he came to NXT, his dad passed away, so I'm assuming he's going to win, unless Vince McMahon doesn't give two shits. Or Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels is the one running NXT, right? Like, he's like, still don't give a shit, you're losing, bye. I'm assuming it's going to be Grimes. Put Grimes on the fucking main roster already. Like, that, again, you need more talent. You need more bodies on the main roster. Didn't Roman hit Seth with a chair 50 times? What was the follow-up on that? I don't know. There actually wasn't a follow-up on that. Good question. Good question, Doctor. That's weird. Next is the Creed Brothers versus the Creed Brothers versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. Creed Brothers got the win. And then right after that, you showed to live camera footage in Diamond Mine's locker room where these two masked people, who I'm assuming are the same guys that took them out last week, are ruining their locker room and spray painting all over it. And they start spray painting "Don't Cry." So, who is that supposed to be? Like, is that a debuting group, or is that a returning group, or who is it? Someone tell me. And then lastly, at the main event, Duke Hudson versus Gunther. Duke Hudson didn't look bad in this match. I gotta admit, he was able to really stand his ground against Walter. I'm gonna call him Walter. Fuck it. Against Walter, he had a pretty good match. He really took those chops like a man. Like, Walter was chopping the fuck out of him. Like, Jesus Christ. But it was just like, come on, you knew Gunther was gonna win, or you knew Walter was gonna get that win, and Duke Hudson was in the main event of NXT. So, and he didn't do a bad job. He showed up. He did his job. Next we have, or was this the main event? I don't even think this was the main event. No, this wasn't the main event. We got one match. I'm sorry. Next we have LA Knight. LA Knight, cuts off Gunther and says, we're gonna have a match. Again, we're gonna have a match at TakeOver. Blah blah blah. So we're getting LA Knight and Walter, which I'm gonna assume LA Knight's taking the L on this one, which sucks because I like LA Knight. He's probably the most over guy in NXT, and yet they just sent him out there to lose. Like, put this guy on the main roster already. Like, he didn't even need to be on NXT. Put him on the main roster because, again, we need more guys. We need more guys that go after the fucking U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, and possibly more people for Roman. And that's gonna get over on the main roster. Like, he's a catchphrase. Whose time is it? Nice, LA Knight. Like, do that. Or whose show is this? Like, that's gonna get over. And the fans love it. The fans will chant for anything. I'm sorry about that. Now we have the main event. The finals for the Women's Dusty Cup Classic. Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. And just like Wendy Chu, I was falling asleep during this match. This is when I decided to take my nap. And I was already falling asleep during the majority of the show. Like, I think I woke up during the fucking A-Kid match. This match was not very good. It really wasn't. And I love Io Shirai. Kaylee Ray I'm not crazy about. I don't really think she's very good. Dakota Kai, once upon a time I liked, but she's not very good. Wendy Chu, the whole sleeping gimmick has kind of worn off. It's lost its luster for me. So, as we can imagine, Io and Kaylee won. And then Toxic Attraction gets in the ring and talk a little bit of shit. And, Mandy says, if you think you can beat the tag champions, you're wrong. And then Kaylee gets on the mic and says, I know we're supposed to face the tag champions, but we're going to cash this in so we can make the women's match a 4-way. Because reasons. And then, Cora Jade comes out. So now, what was supposed to be a women's match, a 2-on-2 or 1-on-1 women's match, is now a 4-way at TakeOver, which is going to be at noon at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. here in Texas. And I guess I understand why they did it, because Cora Jade is not very good. And yes, I'm going to say that, and I already know, I can already hear RJ's response. Well, Drew, it's developmental. It's developmental, Drew. Everyone needs to get better. And then I'm going to say, but Cora Jade sucks, RJ. But it's developmental, Drew. But Cora Jade sucks, RJ. She sucks. She's not very good. I love RJ, by the way. Love you, RJ. I know you listen. That was probably a bad RJ impression, by the way. But yeah, Cora Jade is not very good. Her punches aren't very good. Her ring psychology, her promos, she looks like a lost dog in that ring, and I get it, she's 21, but she sucks. Like, they're pushing her down our throat. Like, I'd rather see Shirai, and I'm not even sorry about that. That was bad. I'd rather see Shirai at this point in a fucking top spot over Cora Jade. Like, I have no interest in Cora Jade in anything she does. She's a bad actress, too. Like, those segments she did with fucking Raquel Gonzalez were bad. Like, when Raquel shows up to her house, Raquel, what are you doing at my apartment? It's only like 5 a.m? It's like, that was porn level acting bad. Jesus. So, basically, this whole tournament was a waste of time. I mean, it kind of is a waste of time. It was already a waste of time to begin with, but the fact that both women who won the match, who we presume were going to face the tag champions, end up cashing in their spot to be in a women's championship match, which, again, is kind of an upgrade. I don't know. NXT, it was a heavy wrestling show, but for the past few weeks, NXT has been a much better show, like, as far as wrestling wise. This week was not very good. Like, I put it on Twitter, like, it was a very bleh type of show. Like, I got nothing out of NXT this week, which is unfortunate. But that was NXT, people. Let's see. Let me talk about Thunder Rosa for a bit. So last week at Dynamite for St. Patty's Day show, Thunder Rosa had a really interesting entrance where she came out in a mariachi, or she had mariachi bandmates playing her theme, which I was like, all right, that's pretty cool entrance. Didn't really think much of it. Apparently she was getting complaints. And this is something Mish, he put on my, because I posted about this, and then, this is leading to the topic, but Mish had said that people were complaining about her entrance, and they said it was racist. Which I'm just like, a Latina woman who's actually from Mexico coming out to a mariachi band is racist? Do AEW fans just complain about everything? Or not even AEW fans, do wrestling fans just complain about everything? Like, that's lazy. Like, that's not even being a baby, that's just being lazy. That's dumb. So, anyways, Thunder Rosa was on a what was she on? She was on NBC's Sports Boston 10 Court, and talked about a segment. Let's see. Ahead of the match, a women's mariachi band played through the ring, which was done by her to represent her culture properly. And she had mentioned this. I can tell you, I read about me bringing the mariachi, and I remember Brock Lesnar making fun of Eddie Guerrero with that. And that hurts because they were making fun of my culture before. And on Wednesday, I represented our culture properly, with honor and respect. Because people were like, ooh, mariachi fun. Let's make fun of Mexicans, said Thunder Rosa. End quote. Oh boy. I love Thunder Rosa. I do. But come on. That was the whole fucking point of that segment. Is that Brock was supposed to be mocking Eddie. And yeah, you couldn't get away with that today. I mean, that's not as bad as a fucking JBL at the fucking border chasing away immigrants. Like, that's not as bad as that. I mean, it's still pretty bad, but it's not as bad as that. But Brock, I remember that. Like, This was in '04. This is when, Eddie was going to be wrestling Brock for the title at No Way Out. And, Brock came out and was mocking Eddie. He came out in with a mariachi band, wearing a fucking sombrero and doing the dance and whatever. And, Eddie came out and just, Eddie came out and cut a pretty good promo, talked about, his past and his addictions. And, of course, Eddie ended up winning the match. Because Eddie fucking Guerrero, one of the best. And, yeah, it's just like, I had fucking Hispanic people on my fucking Facebook commenting on it and saying that it was funny. Like John Garcia, Mad Max. Shout out to Mad Max. Like, he said, I'm a Mexican. I still thought that was funny. So it's just like, this is where I gotta use the M word on Thunder Rosa, and I hate that I have to use it, but she's acting like a mark. And maybe that's being too harsh, because it's not really being a mark. Like, it is and it isn't, but it's just like saying, Brock Lesnar was being disrespectful to my culture, and it's just like, it was the fucking point. He was a heel. Eddie was the baby face. Of course, Brock is gonna be a fucking dick. Like, come on. And also, why are you blaming Brock? I'm pretty sure that wasn't Brock's idea. That was probably Bruce Pritchard's idea, or whoever was writing SmackDown at the time. So blame fucking creative, blame Bruce Pritchard, blame Vince. So I really don't know. Like, that would be like me, since I'm half Persian, by the way. That'd be like me complaining about Muhammad Hassan. Like saying, they're not properly representing Middle Eastern people. Muhammad Hassan is offensive to me. Ugh. Like, I mean, ignoring the fact that Mark Capani, who's an Italian man, was playing fucking Muhammad Hassan, that's beside the point. But it's just like, I'm sorry, Rosa, but you're being a mark. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to use that terminology, but you're being a mark. Like, dude, it's fucking a part of the show. It's what heels do. The heel was supposed to be a dick. The heel is supposed to piss off the babyface. And again, was it as bad? Like, did you remember JBL being at the fucking border chasing away illegal immigrants? Like, you're gonna tell me that was more offensive than that? Like, come on. And okay, I'm not gonna tell someone what they shouldn't be offended by. I'm not. But it's just, come on. Stop being a mark. That's one of the titles for tonight's episode. Stop being a mark. It's a fucking TV show. Oh boy. Should I talk about Control Your Narrative, or should I talk about Undertaker? What do you guys think? Oh yeah, the blackface. Whew. I don't even want to talk about that. Let's not touch that. But oh yeah, okay, Undertaker. So Undertaker talks about the product again. He was on... Who the hell was he on? His discussion with Brian, the True Geordie Davis. He says... Do I have the fucking quote? I don't know if I have the exact quote. I'm just gonna read the fucking thing. Okay, so he says, I think things have changed, and I just can't say that it changed in wrestling. I think in all sports, and it's a different generation. Call it evolution if you want. I don't think guys are leading the same lifestyles that guys in the past did. One, they can't, because everything they do, there is somebody somewhere pulling out a cell phone, right? I feel bad for them because they can't go and blow off some steam somewhere after they work, because they are constantly under some type of surveillance. Where I didn't have to worry about that because there wasn't cell phones and all that. When I came up, the locker room was a lot different. It was pretty crusty. You drove everywhere. You didn't fly very often. There were a few guys that have knives in their bags, guns in their bags. It was a very different group of men. Not saying one is better and one is worse, but they had a very different way of settling things. If there was a disagreement, they'd go in the shower, and that's where everything got handled. You discussed it and come to an agreement, or you threw down. Those guys didn't put up with any kind of crap and weren't afraid to call somebody out. Today's athlete is just that. They're athletes. They've been trained to do this. I'm sure there are some, but I don't think they have the same bad habits a lot of us did. Fortunately, our business has evolved. Now we have trainers, we have doctors that travel with us. There are protocols in place when you do get hurt. So that is one of the greatest evolutions in our business, that you have to, if you do get hurt, you have to get cleared because you're allowed to get back in the ring. Whereas early on, you didn't have anybody that you were hurt because you didn't want to take any time off, because you didn't want to get paid. Forget my words. You didn't want to not get paid. It's a bloody vicious cycle. You're not out there working hurt, and when you're working hurt, you're trying to protect one thing. Then you're going to end up hurting someone else. And this is the meat and potatoes of the conversation. I'm almost done. I feel like there's a level of grit that is missing from today's product. I don't know that it is anybody's fault. We all aged out, so that new group has came up. When you watch Brock wrestle, you're interested because you know he got his background. Not only as an amateur wrestler, professional wrestler, mixed martial arts, Brock doesn't do a bunch of crazy moves. He manhandles your ass. You get in there, you get thrown around, you get smashed. Roman has a little bit of that to him when he wants to. Randy has that to him when he wants to. But a lot of the younger talent, it's the evolution of that comic book era, the superhero era. I think that's what's their motivation, and that's what's their inspiration is. And they didn't have to come up and bust heads in bars and figure out how they're going to eat and some things like that. End quote. Oh boy. That's a lot of quotes. Okay. He had a point. But then he had to take it a little bit of then he had to maybe take it a little bit too, I don't want to say too far, but he went a little bit overboard. So is there a little bit of grit missing in today's product? Yeah, because guys nowadays, like the tough guys, are going to MMA or boxing or the NFL or Hollywood. You know, the tough guys aren't coming to wrestling anymore because it is the evolution of the athlete in wrestling. You have a lot of guys who are very athletic, can do very athletic looking moves, can work, can have a good match, but have the personality of a peanut and can't fight for dick. You know, Brock and Roman are probably the only like legit tough guys in wrestling right now. Probably just Brock. Like I don't want to say Roman. Fuck it. Roman's a tough guy. He's a Samoan. Samoans are tough, so we're just gonna throw him in there. But then to say it's the evolution of the comic book era that everybody wants to be a superhero, everybody wants to be Captain America, I'm like, I don't really know if that's the case. Like, it's definitely I don't know. Like, I can't really dissect too much of this because I don't think he's wrong, but I don't think he's right. Like, because I can't tell. No, I want to be Batman. Get it right. Like, I can't tell if he's doing the whole. Because it's weird. Because, like, again, the guys like him and Cornette, you know, they like to do the whole. Well, you know, back in my day, guys got into fights. They had girlfriends. They had blah blah blah. You know, they're doing the whole back in my day shit, and I can't tell if that's what they want. Because he does make a good point where nowadays, you know, social media is so big that you can't do anything. You can't pick your nose. You can't fart without somebody, you know, knowing. You can't do anything without somebody pulling out their cell phone and saying, "Oh, look, Mark Calloway's in my bar." And he's right. You know, I think if social media wasn't as prevalent as it is today, the way it used to be back in the day, I think guys could maybe get away with a little bit more, which sounds wrong. Or maybe guys could live their lives a little bit more privately. So I don't know. I can't really agree with Mark or Mark, I can't really agree with Taker that much, and I can't really disagree with him. Because, yeah, he's right. The business is soft. You don't really have any stars. You don't really have guys that look like they can whoop your ass. And when you do, you fucking water them down. Like Drew McIntyre. Like fucking Karrion Kross. Like Keith Lee. Well, Keith Lee kind of does it to himself. But, or fucking Braun. You can't let tough guys be tough. So it's one of those things where everybody's at fault. It's not really one person whose fault it is. So Taker is right, but he's not really right. I think he had a point going until he decided to add that last bit. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But, yeah. So control your narrative. Released their rules and regulations last week. So I will discuss the news. Or not the news, but the rules. Are you guys ready? Control your narrative, rules and regulations. Rule number 1. You are in control. Rule number 2. You are in control. Okay, just in case you forgot. Rule number 3. Fight ends when you tap out, get knocked out, can't stand or quit. Sanctioned matches can end via pinfall. Alright. Number 4. Standard professional wrestling matches or standing professional wrestling rules apply for sanctioned matches. Chaos ensues in the Project Pit. The Project Pit. What is the Project Pit? Oh boy. Is it like the Lion's Den? You guys remember the Lion's Den from like the Attitude Era? Like, Jesus Christ. Number 5, no hashtag super kicks, no hashtag top suicidas, no hashtag Canadian destroyers. I'm fine with that. I don't know about you guys, I'm fine with that move. Number 6, the fight isn't with your opponent, it is with yourself. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, whatever. Number 7, fights will go on as long as they have to. Sanctioned matches hit their times. So wrestling matches are going to have a time limit, and the quote-unquote fights in the Project Pit are going to be as long as they need to. Okay, alright. If you want to control your narrative, you have to fight. Didn't we kind of like discuss that already? So that's control your narrative, people. The rules and regulations. The fight is not just with your opponent, it is with yourself. Big E. Big E gave an update on his condition. He posted I think it was like either last week or sometime earlier this week. He said, had my first doctor's appointment, and learning because of the C1 fracture, I narrowly escaped a stroke, paralysis, or death is very sobering. Life feels even more precious and valuable now. So that's good to hear. I mean, I gave Big E shit for his title reign. I like Big E. I like him as a talent. Love him as a person. I'm glad he's okay. I want him to get better. I want him to come back to the ring. And just, that's all that matters. I want him to be okay. I'm glad he's alright. Last bit of news before we get into Q&A. This was posted on Fightful Select. Killer Kross and Scarlett were actually planned for the Ring of Honor Supercard reboot and had spoken with Delirious about the appearance, but when the regime changed, they had not heard back. Boy. And that's kind of sounds about right. I mean, because I know... What is it? The story is that Tony Khan, I think, is blackballing Kross because he wanted Kross to sign with AEW in the beginning, but Kross chose WWE instead. So, there's your Booker of the Year, or I call Bitch-Ass of the Year. Alright, that's enough news. We'll get into Q&A. So I posted, drop your questions in the chat, and a lot of you guys did, so I'm going to read them. Jeff Littman asked, why don't you have any friends if you're so adorable? Well, that's the point, Jeff. I'm too adorable. I'm too adorable to have friends. Nobody wants to be around me because I'm so adorable. Like, just it's a gift. It's a gift and a curse. Damn it. Hiroshima asks, where do you think the Roman Reigns experiment ends if he turns babyface? Could he be elevated as a top heel? Who could be elevated as a top heel to face him? That's an interesting question. Well, the Roman Reigns experiment ends if we can find a foil for him. Like, if we can find somebody to elevate as a star. And I thought it would be Cross. They tried it with Drew, but the whole Drew thing fell apart. They tried it with Big E, and that didn't work. I mean, could it be Braun? I mean, could Braun be like the next big thing to go against Roman? I mean, if they don't fuck him up, that's for damn sure. But again, like the past has proven that creative fucks everything up. Shit, I don't know. Top heel if they turn him face? Maybe Austin Theory. Like if they ever do turn Roman face, because they love Austin Theory and they're putting him on high profile matches. Like maybe Austin Theory. I'm gonna go with Austin Theory. Hiroshima, if you're listening. Mike James. What is the airspeed velocity of an African laden swallow? I had to look this up. I had to look this up. I'm sorry, because I'm not good with that kind of shit. The speed of an African laden swallow, or unladen swallow, is about 24 miles per hour, or 11 meters per second. So that answers your question. CM Hucking Goof asked quite a few questions. Can you see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Because Cinnamon Toast Crunch is fucking delicious. It is fucking good. I love it. Love it. After he dispatches Richard Holiday and besides Jacob Fatu, who do you think Hammerstone's next MLW World Heavyweight Champion feud would be against? I'm going to be honest, Goof. I fell off. I lost interest in MLW a while ago, so I have zero clue. Like I tried to give it a chance and it was good, but it lost my interest. I didn't really care. I like fucking Hammerstone. I think he's great. I like Fatu. I think he's good. So I really don't know. Like, if RJ were on the show, he could probably answer that question a little bit better than me. Maybe Littman. So, sorry. Can we start referring to you as the adorable one, Drew Yari? Of course you can. Absolutely. WrestleMania predictions. I'm going to say that for next week because I have some ideas for guests I can bring on next Wednesday. So I'm going to save my predictions for next week. Who on the current roster is credible enough babyface to feud with Roman after WrestleMania, assuming he beats Bork and wins both bouts? Well, once he becomes, the unified champion, he's going to be on both shows. So that gives him a chance to wrestle more than just like SmackDown opponents. I wouldn't mind seeing him and AJ. Him and AJ had some really good matches a while ago when AJ first came to the company. Maybe continue his feud against Seth because that didn't really get resolved. Well, not Finn because he already wrestled Finn. Yeah, that's really all I can think about at the moment. Alright, next question. Sakazumi Ayarari asked me, do you find Becky Lynch to be the best horsewoman? No. Charlotte is without a doubt the better of the four. Hands down. Better talker, better worker. Sasha is maybe the bigger star. Bayley is my personal favorite. I think she's the better worker. I like Bayley. I love Bayley. I think Becky is probably my least favorite. She's always kind of been my least favorite because she's just always been there. And yeah, the whole man thing was good, but after a while that kind of lost its luster. So Charlotte is the best, Sasha is the bigger star, and Bayley is my favorite. There you go. Hiroshima asked me, how big is Batista's dick? I really don't fucking know. It's big. It's really big, I'm assuming. Little RJ the Savage, hey, I know that guy, asked me, why did the chicken cross the road? To get away from Lexington Steel. End quote. Kyle, you have the last round of questions tonight. So, you asked me, well, the first question you asked, how did you get into podcasting? I mean, like everybody else, I mean, because I liked, before I even listened to Wrestling Soup and DTKC, I listened to shows like, Chris Hardwick's show, The Nerdist, like Kevin Smith. I listened to some of the wrestler podcasts like Jericho and Austin, but then I lost interest after that. I fell in love, again with Wrestling Soup and DTKC because these weren't celebrities. These were like actual guys. These are people like us talking about wrestling. And it just seemed, and I like the appeal of this is just me and my friends just shooting the shit. We're not being we're not, being too, professional or corporate. We're just shooting the shit and we're talking about things that we like, however we want to talk about it. And it's just like, I needed a gateway to talk about the shit that I like. And, for a while I was just doing blogs or going on Facebook and Twitter. Now I got into that, and I had Mish, I still have Mish on my personal Facebook. And I just, one day out of the blue, just asked him, I'm interested in starting a podcast. What do I need to do? Like, what are some good platforms to use? And he recommended Spreaker, and he just told me the basics: get a microphone and some headphones. That's all you need. And it just went from there. And 4 years passed. It'll be a 5-year anniversary next year, on the 19th, I believe. So, I've been here ever since, and I appreciate the friends I met along the way. And I'm glad you guys are still here to listen to my dumbass talk about these goofy things. Next, you asked me, when I was at the Dallas airport in September, I had a delicious meal from a local chain called Twisted Root Burger Company. Have you ever eaten at Twisted Root? No, I haven't, Kyle. I actually haven't heard of it. Never heard of that until now. I had to look it up. So I'll take you on that offer. I'll try it one day. Are you a Texas Rangers fan? I am not. I'm actually not a baseball fan, Kyle. I tried giving baseball a chance, and I'll watch games every now and then. Like, I think the last game I watched was this World Series from 2 years ago, and I'm not a cat. I'll get into that. But yeah, baseball, I tried to give a chance. I'll root for the Rangers. Like, if the Rangers are doing good, I'll root for them because, it's Texas, so I'll root for them, but not really a baseball fan. And I'm kind of a Cowboys fan, but they find ways to piss me off. He asked me, besides Seth Rollins, who would you like to see Cody Rhodes have matches with in WWE? Him and AJ would be fucking dope. I would love that. Let's see. I'm assuming we're going to get him and Roman sometime down the line, maybe at like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, possibly. Let's see. Him and Finn will be fun. Him and Kevin Owens would be fun. Maybe even bring back John Cena for a spell and have him wrestle John Cena. Maybe put him in NXT, have him work with some of the guys like fucking Braun. Yeah, I mean those are my choices. And his last question: have you ever been to the Midwest? I have not. I would love to go. I don't really get out much. I'll be honest. I haven't really been out much. I was in Chicago for like 2 hours, and that was at the airport. And I remember my mom was like saying, that's a very difficult airport to get through. And it's just like, I literally just went to the one person at the desk and went, "Hey, where's this terminal? It's right there. Thank you." That was it. And I forgot when the fuck that was. That was in 2007. I was visiting my sister in Pittsburgh, so I had to stop in Chicago for a bit. But yeah, the Midwest, I've never been. I would like to go to Chicago, maybe meet up with Mish, meet up with my boy Karlik, sometime down the line. Maybe go to Milwaukee, hang out with Kyle. You never know. I'm not opposed to going out. So I like getting out. I need to get out of Texas in general. But yeah, that's the show. That's all the questions, guys. I appreciate y'all for leaving your questions. And again, questions are always welcome. There's no topic that is off limits. Thank you, Kyle. So, Patreon. I mean, Dirk, you could have left a question, dude. Like, come on. You can leave a question next week. But again, questions are always welcome. No matter how silly or serious or sexual they may be, I will answer them to the best of my abilities. But Patreon. Head over to the Patreon, guys. Just $5 a month. You get shows that I do with these silly people. I think I refer to them as Jeff Lippman and RJ and Ruben Prime. $5, Dirk. It's a good deal. $5. $5. That's like what? What is $5? Like, what's something you can get for $5? A bag of chips and a soda. That's a bag of chips and a soda. That is nothing. $5. I mean, come on. Sonny. There you go. Yeah, $5 a month. You get shows I do with Jeff Lippman and RJ and Ruben. Good shit. Like I mentioned, it's come on, whatever, Dirk. Whatever. I'm not even gonna give that a response. Another Persian. Come on. Is it because I'm half Persian? I'm not all the way Persian. If I were all the way Persian, will you give me $5? Whatever. Anyways, $5 a month. It helps out. The more donations we get, the more tiers I can put up. Might even throw in some prizes. You never know. But yeah, $5 a month. It's much appreciated, and it goes a long way. And also, do some shout-outs. I haven't done shout-outs in a while. Wrestling Soup, Kevin Castle, and Trez, and Chicky. I think Kevin and Trez are doing a show tomorrow. Jesus Christ. Kev and Chicky just did a show recently, so listen to that. Wrestling Court, they just dropped a new episode. Breaking the Apocalypse. As far as I know, it's just John and Shaheen. Brian isn't on the show anymore. But shout out to Brian anyway. Andrew Karlik, RJ. Brother Monty. Jeff Lippman, of course. Steve from Hammerlock Hangover. Ruben Prime. Let's see. JD from Russell Bread. And Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. And everybody else that has a podcast. Everybody else that has a show. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody that supports this show and comes in the chat and just talks about anything. I love all you guys. I appreciate you guys for the support and the love and the clicks and the downloads. He might be. I don't know. But yeah, next week is WrestleMania week. And so I'm planning for a big show next Wednesday. I more than likely won't do a post show for WrestleMania because I gotta work the next day, and also, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna have something big planned for next week when we do our predictions. But I will see you guys next week, same time, same channel, and have a great week. Take care, and most of all, peace.